Thank you very much for the gracious greeting. I'm personally very sorry that I cannot be with you in person today. I was looking forward very much to another opportunity to visit Birzeit University. The first time I spoke at Birzeit was during the first Intifada, and it had to be moved to East Jerusalem. The authorities had closed down the university. The second time was about 10 years later, when I was able to visit the campus with my close friends, Azmi Bishara and Amira Haas, and had been hoping to come again today. Without any further comment, it's even more disappointing, far more disappointing, that a government, any government, should assume the right to determine who can be invited to speak by a free and independent university. And I hope that kind of boycott, as you correctly called it, will soon come to an end. Well, turning to the topic, which is about the United States and its place in the world, the literature on U.S. foreign relations and international affairs has a common theme pretty much across the spectrum. The common theme is sometimes called American exceptionalism. That's the idea that the United States has a unique dedication to freedom, democracy, human rights, all good things. There are two problems with this common theme. One is it's not exceptional. In fact, it's close to universal. It's hard to find in the records of any great power an absence of the claim that there's a sort of a unique benevolence and magnificence to their role. That's even true of the worst monsters. The second problem is that the theme, the motif of American exceptionalism is the doctrine is completely contradicted by the historical record, overwhelmingly from the origins of the country. And that poses a task for the intellectual community, namely to reconcile the gap, the chasm, in fact, between the doctrine and reality. And that's a task that absorbs a great deal of energy and attention in interesting ways. Well, the fact that the doctrine is completely refuted by history doesn't mean that there is no truth to it. There are elements of American exceptionalism. Some of them, in fact, are attractive. So the United States is unusual, I think unique, at least since the 1960s, in its protection for freedom of speech, a core principle of human rights. A second crucial difference is that for over a century, the United States has been by far the largest economy in the world. By moving to more recent times, by the end of the Second World War, the United States had literally half the wealth of the world. It's an unparalleled degree of concentration of wealth that was reduced over time as the industrial countries were reconstituted after the war and decolonization took place. By 1970, the world had become more diverse, sometimes called tripolar, with three major centers of economic strength: North America, based in the United States, Europe, primarily Germany and France, and Northeast Asia, which already at that time, even before the rise of China, was becoming the most dynamic growth area in the world. So by then the United States had maybe 25% of the world's wealth, which is a figure that remains pretty constant since. Another crucial difference between the United States and other great powers in the past is that the United States is a settler colonial society. That's the most extreme and brutal form of imperialism. And that aspect of U.S. history, I think, is not given enough attention. It's particularly relevant in the present case. I presume it's one of the reasons for the almost reflexive sympathy of Americans for Israel, which is in a sense seen as reliving the history of the United States as a settler colonial society. Now, there are many ironies in this. The earliest settlers in the United States, the ones who settled New England, where I live, they were mostly religious extremists. They perceived themselves as the children of Israel, waving the holy book as they came to the promised land to kill the Amalekites and drive them out. And of course, doing it with the most benevolent of reasons. If you look at the state of Massachusetts, where I live, it received its charter from the King of England in 1629, and it established a great seal of the state of Massachusetts, which you can find on the internet. It pictures an Indian with a scroll coming out of his mouth saying, "Come over and help us." So the Indians were pleading with the settlers to come and rescue them from their state of paganism. And the result was that they were exterminated, which was puzzling to many commentators because the U.S. was following God's will. And it's a theme called providentialism, runs right through American history from the earliest settlers right up to George W. Bush. We're pursuing God's will in whatever we do, and if it turns out that some people seem to be harmed by it, well, that's the mystery of God's will, not for us mere humans. What?
Speak louder.
Speak louder. I'm sorry, I can't manage. Okay. I tend to speak softly, but I don't have a big stick. Another unusual, maybe unique feature of the United States is that it's perhaps the only society that was founded as an empire. So George Washington, the father of the country, described the United States as an infant empire. The colonies were to expand and grow. And his colleagues agreed. The most libertarian of the founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, had a very expansive conception. In his view, the new colonies would, of course, drive out the native population. Actually, they exterminated them for the most part, and would expand. It would end up being a country, as he put it, without blot or mixture, neither red